Let's see how to construct a stem and leaf plot, also called a stem and leaf diagram. Now, to learn the method, we're going to be working through the two examples that we see here. And in example 1, we're given some grades out of 20 and we need to construct a stem and leaf plot for this data. So let's go ahead. The words stem and leaf in a stem and leaf plot refer to two columns. And I'll just write this here, stem and leaf. There we go. And those two columns are usually separated with a line, looking something like this. So here's the idea. The first thing I like to make a note of is the smallest value I can find inside the list, as well as the largest value I can find. And looking at this list of data, well, the smallest value I see is 7, and the largest value, or largest grade out of 20 I see, is 20. And so the way I'll construct this stem and leaf diagram is by working my way in increasing order from the smallest value we have, so from 7, up to the largest value we have, so that's 20. And here's how that's done. Focusing on the 7 we have, in the stem column we'll write how many 10s are in 7, and in the leaf column we'll write how many 1s are in 7. And 7, well, there are 0 10s in 7, so I'll write a 0 here, and there are 7 1s. And so that's 7 taken care of. Now looking for the next value in the list as I work my way towards 20, well, that would be the 8 I see here. And similarly, 8 has 0 10s, so it will go on the same row as the 7 we have here, but it has 8 1s. And so I'll write an 8 right here. I carry on and look for the next value I can find as I work my way towards 20, and I can see that the next value would be 8 again. And so once more, 8 has 0 10s and 8 1s. So I write another 8 right here. Carrying on inside this list, the next number we have is 10 right here. And 10 of course consists of 1 10 and 0 1s. There we go, that's 10 taken care of. Carrying on, the next number we have inside our list would be the 12 we see here. And 12 has 1 10, so it's going to go on the same row as the 10 we just wrote. But it has 2 1s, so we'll write a 2 next to the 0 here. I carry on, the next number I come across as I work my way up to 20 would be 13, which again has 1 10, but this time it has 3 1s. So it still goes on this second row here, and I'll write a 3 here. I carry on, and the next number in the list would be 14, which consists of 1 10 and 4 1s. And then I have an 18, and so I'll underline that as well, there we go. And 18 has 1 10 again, and of course it has 8 1s. I carry on with this 19 in the list, which of course has 1 10 and 9 1s. And finally, I write the largest value we have inside our list here, which was 20, and since 20 is made of 2 10s and 0 1s, we'll make a new row just for 20 in which we'll write 2 in the stem column and 0 in the leaf column. And we're done. We've now constructed the stem and leaf plot for these grades out of 20. And typically there's one thing we'll often add here, and I'll add it at the bottom here, and that is the key. The idea being to show the reader how to read each of the values inside this table. And so for example, we could say 1 with a vertical line 3, and we could state that that's equal to 13. And so thanks to this key, when someone looks at this second row here, they should be able to tell that 1 0 corresponds to 10, 1 2 corresponds to 12, 1 3 corresponds to 13, and so on and so forth. But be aware that the key is often asked in exam questions. Now, before I work through example 2, let me just say that stem and leaf plots can be very useful to get a quick idea of what the distribution for our data looks like. Indeed, simply looking at this simple stem and leaf plot we just drew, we can tell right away that most of the grades were between 10 and 19. And we can see that thanks to the fact that the digits in this row go further to the right than any other in the table. And so do keep that purpose for stem and leaf plots in mind. That being said, let's move on to example 2. Here we're given the ages of people at a restaurant, let's say on a Saturday night, and again we need to create a stem and leaf plot or a stem and leaf diagram for this data. Well, just at a quick glance here, we can see quite quickly that the stem and leaf plot for this data will have quite a lot more rows than the one we just did here. In fact, I should say, you may find the construction of the stem and leaf plot I'm about to do a little bit slow in this video. So if you feel comfortable making it on your own, don't hesitate to do it, then fast forward to the end to see if you got the answer right. If not though, do keep on watching. Again, my starting point will be to find the smallest value in the list as well as the largest value. And in doing so, I find that the smallest value is 14, and the largest value is 101. And with those two values in mind, I now construct my two columns. And at the top of this one, I'll write stem, and the top of the right-hand side one, I'll write leaf. There we go. So, given that the smallest value is 14 and the largest value is 101, the stem will start at 1 and it will work its way all the way up to 10, since 101 contains 10 tens. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And in fact, I'll extend this column a bit. There we go. Okay, now we're ready to take care of the leaf column. So remember, the smallest value is 14, so that's 1 10 and 4 ones, which I write there. And following that, the next smallest value would be the 17 we have here. And so I'll underline that to say that I've taken care of it. There we go. And 17 is 1 10 and 7 ones, which I write here. I carry on, and the next value we'll have here would be the 28 we see here, and so I underline that. And since 28 is 2 10s and 8 ones, we go on the next row for 2 10s and 8 ones. There we go. I carry on, the next value would be the 29 we see here, which again contains 2 10s, but this time it has 9 ones. And I carry on, the next value in this list would be 35, which I'll underline, there we go. And since 35 has 3 10s and 5 ones, we go to the next row and write a 5 in the leaf column. Carrying on this way, the next value would be 37, which has 3 10s and 7 ones. And we carry on. The next value would be 39, and there's a second 39 right here. So we have two 39s, so I'll underline them both. There we go. And they both have 3 10s and 9 ones, so I'll write a 9 here and a 9 here. I carry on. The next value we have would be the 40 we see right here, and so I'll underline that. And 40 consists of 4 10s and 0 ones. And the next value we'll have will be the 43 we see here, which I'll underline again, and so that's 4 10s and 3 ones. Carrying on, we'll have the 47, which is right next to it, so that's right here, and of course that's 4 10s and 7 ones. And finally, the last 40 we have, I believe, is this 48 we see at the beginning of the list, so that's 4 10s and 8 ones. Carrying on and focusing on the numbers we haven't underlined yet, we quickly see that the next value in the list would be 50, so I'll underline that, there we go, and 50 of course is 5 10s and 0 ones. We carry on, there's a second 50 right here, which we underline again, like so, and so once more we have 5 10s and 0 ones. Next, hovering through this, I believe I saw a 53 earlier on, indeed it's right here, and so I underline that, there we go, and so that's 5 10s and 3 ones. And now all the numbers here have been underlined, and so I focus on this second and third line here, and I can see that the next value would be this 55. So I underline that, and that's 5 10s and 5 ones. I carry on, we have a 60 here, followed by a 61 right next to it. So 60 is 6 10s and 0 ones, and 61 is 6 10s and 1 1. And then we can see that the next number in the list would be 63, and so I underline that. And that of course is 6 10s and 3 ones. Next we have 73 on the far end of the list here, so that's 7 10s and 3 ones, as well as 76 right here, which is 7 10s and 6 ones. And next we have this 81, which is 8 10s and 1 1. Notice that we don't have any 90s in this list, but I still created that row in my stem and leaf diagram. And of course we have the last or largest value in the list, which we had underlined in blue to begin with, and that was 101, which is made of 10 10s and 1 1. So I write a 1 in this column. And we're done. Again, we could create a key, like so, and perhaps this time I'll say that 3 with a bar 5 equals to 35. And I could also give an example of a number like 100 or more, so I could write something like 10 with this bar 3 equals to 103. Notice that for this second example with more data, we quickly see that this stem and leaf plot shows us that the majority of people visiting the restaurant that evening were in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, which could be interesting for a manager who's trying to come up with appealing deals for his or her customers. All that being said, that's it for this video on how to construct a stem and leaf plot.